Rutgers gets a 34-31 win to kick off this college football season against Ohio University, and there's a lot to unpack from this game. But first things first, it's a win, and when you have a MAC team that comes into your house, it better be a victory when you're a Big Ten football team. So Rutgers got the win and avoided a major upset.
I've been doing this for a while now, so I've been a part of some teams that had great years that won games by 1 point that they shouldn't have even been close, right? And then they go on. And I've also been part of teams when you go blow people out and then you're not very good. So one game is one game.
So let's start with the offense and the quarterback. Athan Kaliakmanis turned in one of the best seasons that we've ever seen from a Rutgers quarterback, at least in recent memory last year. And he built on that in this opener. 252 yards through the air on 18 of 23 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 to DJ Sheffield down the sideline. Was just, man, you can't throw a ball better than that. Hit him right in stride. And really, you can't throw a ball better than the one that he hit KJ Duff for in close range there down by the goal line. A little play fake and then zipped it. Defense didn't even have a chance. Kaliakmanis is decisive under center. He has leadership. He got Ian Strong involved for 100 yards. He loves his receivers room. I talked to him about that before the season started. And just the level of comfort he has, but the key with him is he says he's not satisfied. How could you be satisfied at 7-6, even though he put up big numbers last year? He was disappointed, left a bitter taste in his mouth. And I think Schiano loves that when he hears that, because that just tells him that his quarterback isn't satisfied and he's going to keep working. And so that's what we see. So it's obviously a very pass-heavy offense. The tight ends get involved. That's a great sign, especially right out of the gates from Rutgers. Wasn't a slow start. Running back, that's the question, right? You're not going to replace Kyle Monungai. At least one guy isn't, although ideally you'd love for somebody to step up. But they can do this with a number of guys. And that was the hope. That was the plan going in, and that's what we saw. Antoine Raymond, 88 yards on the ground and 14 carries, had the touchdown early. We'll talk about that more in a second. CJ Campbell Jr. adding 70 yards on the ground. So it's a well-rounded offense. You saw that. And, against a MAC defense, an inferior defense, well, you're going to want to exploit those teams. You want to put up big numbers on those teams, and they did. They also converted on 4th down every single time. 5 for 5. Greg Schiano was stunned to hear that after the game, actually.
I think somebody told me we were 5 for 5 on 4th down conversions, which probably means we have to get better on 3rd down conversions. But I'll tell you what, to be able to do that calmly and execute the way he did, I think his growth and development keeps showing through. So sure, I'm glad we have him. He's do a good job.
And again, you hear the confidence in his quarterback there, and that is key, especially in those 4th down plays. He trusts that they're going to go out there and they're going to get it if he gives them the opportunity to do it. And they did early. Antoine Raymond on 4th down gets the touchdown. And then, of course, to seal it late on that 4th and 7, Schiano's got full confidence in this offense. That's impressive, and that's exciting if you're a Rutgers fan to see. The defense, he doesn't have so much confidence in the defense. It's very clear. That's a work in progress. But Schiano points out it's an inexperienced defense. I think it was 6 guys that they were starting for the first time against Ohio University, and they're mixing and matching. They're trying to fill some spots. They gave up 400-plus yards of offense to OU, 440 yards of total offense. And yeah, Parker Navarro is a star. So he's going to make his plays. And they had a lot of opportunities to get sacks, and Navarro's a mobile quarterback. They just couldn't finish those off. They're going to see a lot of mobile quarterbacks, though, as especially they get into the Big Ten schedule. So that's something they're going to have to fix. And Schiano talked about seeing all of these little things that with a young, improving defense, okay, we got to fix this, we got to fix that. They're going to have to work on that. You got to love the fact, though, for your defense that Moses Walker had 13 tackles, especially the big one to seal it. That's a career high for him, and so that's definitely helpful. Kosh Sanders, 9 tackles as well, and then he had the big punt block that set up the touchdown from Cam Miller. That was really, maybe the play of the game. That was huge, and, Schiano loves his special teams. His defense, he's learning to love it.
Defensively, I feel like, as I'm watching the game, I'm like, okay, we got to do more of this. We got to get better at this. We had 6 guys that had never start the game. And then we brought in guys that had played, so that played not very much either. So, you know what, I knew we were, I've told you guys all along, I haven't tried to hide it. It's a work in progress, and it will be all year long. We'll get better and better. A lot of guys that haven't played together either, right? We had a lot of guys out there that, we've been here for 7-8 months. So I'm encouraged that we have plenty of room for development, and we're going to have to do that, right? Fundamentally, that's how you do it. You don't go create new defenses. You create better fundamentals that will, when they execute those fundamentals and we get better and better and better, then the calls will work better and better.
So all in all, it's a win. Sloppy on the defensive side, yes. Offensively, crisp. And something to build on at 1-0 as they keep it in the MAC now with Miami University coming to Piscataway next week.